Hi there. My name is Matt Brand. I'm here to talk about legal prostitution and the ins and outs of what countries have done to make prostitution a part of their society. Not many people know this, and this is why I chose this topic, just because of the different controversies that have been associated with prostitution and with involving government in prostitution. And so we'll just take a look at that. These are just a few countries that have taken the jump to legalize prostitution in their country. So we have Netherlands; they're probably the most popular one. Thailand is another one up there. Japan, Denmark, Belgium, France, as well as Germany. These are just among the many list of people that have many list of countries rather that have taken that step to legalize prostitution. And each country has their different reasonings. Obviously, there's different cultural aspects. Definitely don't know if you can see that. I'll bring that in there. See if we can see that. There we go. Okay. So this is just a list of the few countries that have taken the step to legalize prostitution, and we'll find out very quickly why they decided to do that. Um, for many reasons, they're streams of revenue. This is just a slide showing of how much revenue legal prostitution brings to a country. Looks like Germany has over 400,000 active prostitutes right now. That's actually staggering. Just to put that in a broad spectrum, as far as we live in the U.S., that just baffled my mind when I found that. Also, with the 400,000 active prostitutes, it's estimated that 1.2 million euros were earned last year for Germany through the 400,000 active prostitutes. France has about 18,000 active prostitutes. I was only able to find a few facts on a few different countries on how many active prostitutes there were. The Netherlands generates, this is groundbreaking, they generate about 625 million euros per year. And that's mainly in cost to their red light district. It's very popular. They're probably the most well known for that. And what the red light district is just an area along the road where women line up in windows and they have a red light come down over them. It's supposed to be a seductive way for men to look at women, and just builds that desire within men to go out of their way to pay for sex. And these are the many laws that surround legal prostitution. Of course, countries that legalize it do provide guidelines and laws that they have to follow. For the Netherlands, they legalized prostitution in 2000. That was the biggest ground-shaking movement that really other countries started to notice and they started to follow. Other countries, like I said right here, that's the red light district that the Netherlands has in their city of Amsterdam. Let's see here. The majority of countries outlawed pimping as well as brothels. So Japan, Germany, among those other countries, Japan, what they do allow is you selling yourself for sex, but they don't allow pimping. So you can't have a gang of women that you're selling and distributing to different men in order to gain revenue. That's illegal. They won't allow that. It's not a business model. What they do allow, though, is just like freelance. It's very interesting what they allow in these countries and don't allow. But they don't allow brothels. For those of you that don't know, they are just big orgies and just mass amount of people having sex. Anyway, prostitutes, they've received tax breaks due to the government's viewing the workers, as victims and not workers. So this just talks about how the government really sees them in a view of a victimhood and not as a worker of the state. So it's kind of a pity card. What they do is they pity the prostitutes, and they feel like this line of work, you guys are working like this to gain your money. We're just going to give you a little tax break, and that's what they've been doing. Even though the government has been making tons of money off of what they've been doing in that country, obviously they've been making quite good profits for themselves. Okay, so these are the pros to legalization. Obviously, I don't really agree with it. However, this is just showing you guys how what countries rationalize as this could help us if we legalized it. The pros, since it is sanctioned by the government and they are able to enforce their laws and protect their workers and employers. So this just allows another blanket of security over for the employers as well as the workers. It really helps them feel secure and that the state is backing them. So that if anything bad were to go wrong or any clientele were to mistreat them or anything like that, they would be reimbursed. They would be federally covered and covered by the state, covered by the country. They would be backing them, and it's no longer you have to just deal with it on your own. They'll actually help you out. Also, the governments will receive a massive increase to their bottom line through the taxation from this new and flourishing business. Obviously, prostitution has been around since biblical times. It's literally been around forever. And so what countries have noticed what countries have decided to do is rather than keeping it outlawed and having people go through the dark web or go through different streams of getting what they want, trying to be gentle about this, men, instead of going through illegal trafficking, will just go to, let's say, the red light district. What they'll do there is just go pick a woman and have sex with them, and it kind of negates the urge to go and find a sex slave or a slave that they could get in trouble for it, when you can just go down the street and pick out a pretty lady in a window and take her in the back room for an hour. I mean, it sounds gross and it sounds weird to us, me to even say it, but it's just one of those things that the government has decided it's a pro for. Also, it cuts down on the desire for men to seek out prostitution through illegal means, and I already touched on that. A few cons, obviously, it would bring some negative repercussions on the workers and their services, just because it's not necessarily something you boast about. Yeah, I'm a prostitute. Another thing is STDs. The transfer of STDs from clientele to workers is quite staggering, and that's something that workers, I'm sure, are scared of and take precautions for. And negative views on the government who vote to legalize. So other countries could look down on them for legalizing something that has been outlawed for all of history, and that could bring some serious negative repercussions to the morality of that state and country. With legalization of countries, unknowingly welcome the inflows of trafficking. So this is just talking about how where they think they got around the loophole of bringing in from the black market sex slaves, it's really brought a breeding ground for pimps and other people to legally bring their prostitutes here and legally get their money. And so the countries are taking, their proper precautions to eliminate such need, but obviously it's just good, smart business, if you can call it business, for pimps to bring their women over here and bring the sex slaves over here where they can legally do their business. And then these are my references. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you very much.